Skyline Chili?
Chicago Heights, Cincinnati, it's all the same thing. Welcome back to another edition. The Rusty Putter, Adam with his fancy outfit on.
Yeah.
Talking taxes today, I think.
Doing taxes.
You guys hear about this referendum? Happen to see some signs about it?
Little something.
What would Cartman say? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Lake County, we have actually, it's weird. We have Lake Central School and Hanover both up for a tax referendum. We frequently, well, I guess not we, but me, always working mortgage payments for people, have to talk about real estate taxes. Tony, you've moved here, what, 10 years ago?
10 years ago.
10 years ago, you crossed the border and dealing with buyers that frequently think that real estate taxes and their payments are always going to be lower in Northwest Indiana.
Correct.
We did that episode last week with Adam. We talked about trading out of your house in New Lenox, moving to Crown Point. But this idea that real estate taxes are always going to be 1% of your value in Indiana, not always true. And that could change substantially depending on this vote here next Tuesday, right?
Correct.
We did a little bit of research. Anyone else have any other comments on it before we just start talking really boring numbers?
Well, the one thing to understand there is there are some places actually like St. John that are under the 1% tax cap. All right.
Okay.
And we're actually significantly under it. However, referendums don't apply to that cap. All right. So the local taxing district, like the schools and whatever, these referendums that you hear about can push things over.
Yep.
Oh.
And I don't know enough to know if there's any limitation on that. I don't think that there is. But you've got to know that there is a 1% tax cap. However, referendums, special referendums are not included in that, can go over.
And we're gonna break. Don't worry, we got a whole sample of that. But how did we get here? So Mike Braun, new governor, Senate Bill 1 passes in April of this year. His goal is to repeal or to bring property tax relief to all of Indiana. Well, where do your schools get most of their funding from outside of the federal government? From property taxes in the area. School districts, hey, we're going to be starved of revenue. We're going to have these problems. We're going to talk about all of SB1 and what it does, but we'll talk really, really specifically here about Lake Central and Hanover school districts here. We'll pull this up here. So this is the proposed revenue spending plan here for Lake Central. We can, you could go through it. The big concerns here, right? Or the big ticket items. Retaining teachers and staff, $12.2 million. That's beyond what they already are spending. That's what they're requesting more of. Student health and safety initiatives, like $1.6 million. Maintaining class size, another $2 million and change. And then advancing academic programs, about $1.75. But like, why are we having a $12 million increase to recruit and retain teachers?
What's that as a percentage? Do we know?
Their budget, right? Wasn't able to find their specific expenses due to payroll.
Yeah.
But right now the annual budget revenue is $136 million a year.
Oh.
Okay. I was telling Tony earlier, we did some open payroll searches. There's third grade teachers in this district making $122,000 a year. We do know
with that.
We all right, you are.
Yeah.
Third grade teacher?
Yeah.
All right.
They're
It's
important.
formative years.
Yeah.
You and I have talked about this too. Like we do have, and the school district likely has some issues, maybe with some benefit situations right now, health insurance going up.
Yeah.
But the big thing here, we're already in a referendum situation in Lake Central. Current levy rate is 17 cents. We'll get to how that works out. It's always ironic that these places use these super small numbers to convey large numbers. Proposed levy rate can be 26 cents and change. Well, I guess a little 0.2614. It's a 55% increase in your school funding right there.
Yeah. Backstory on that. When I moved here 10 years ago, they had just passed a referendum to build the Lake Central High School as you see it and do Kohler Middle School. And it was combined $185 million, which was an enormous spend 10 years ago. And the argument at that time is that those funds would basically get us through our next 20-year growth cycle. So that levy was on and then actually I was invited to the school to see a presentation on it. After it was done, I was in disbelief. Like the school is it's like a college campus. It's unbelievable.
Lake Central you're talking about.
Yeah, personally, I don't know that we need that. I mean, we didn't have schools like that whatever. It is what it is. But what I felt that was a bit disingenuous, what I don't like about this, and we'll get into this, is that it fell off after 8 years, but right before it was falling off, they started to go for this next referendum. All right, because it was like we were just about to get some relief on our tax bill. And then in 2018, they passed this new one, and they passed it because these are always like special elections. People don't know that they're going on, right?
I had no idea.
You had no idea where to go or that it's on Tuesday to vote. All right, this coming Tuesday is the vote. People don't know. So only people that have a stake in the game go to vote. So the 2018 levy passed with flying colors. So we really never saw that relief. Now that 2018 is set to be can fall off a little bit here, and we're talking about not only like replacing it but adding on to it. So I don't know. At some point in time, I think that there needs to be some form of accountability. As a resident, I certainly don't feel like there is.
Yeah, I think I agree, and this is an interesting dynamic here, right? You don't have any kids in the school district. I got 2+1. You're gonna have, yeah, like we got we're actually gonna be diving into the school district stuff, just for the sake of comparison, because we're gonna talk about Hanover too. Obviously, a little the southern part of St. John and Cedar Lake there. They also have a referendum on the ballot. Their teacher retention request is at $409,000. Obviously not as big of a school district, but they actually talk pretty in their request here. You can actually see, right? They're talking about a per year increase of school tax of 42%. So they're very blunt in their referendum question, or what you're going to see on the ballot there.
Yeah, that's much more transparent.
Yeah, compared to this one,
making it look like it's pennies.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you less than a cup of coffee.
Yeah. So
what is that number? What is 0.26?
Right. So this is and we're going to go through all of these deductions and exemptions and all of that, but it would be your net assessed value, all right, divided by 100,
okay,
all right, times 0.2614.
An easier way to say this is per $100 of assessed value.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. Each $100 of assessed value. So if you have $1,000 assessed value, you have 10 100s.
Yeah.
Right. So 10 100s times that.
Okay.
10 times that.
$2.60.
Exactly.
Not
bad.
Yeah.
Right. But is your house worth $1,000?
Well, it's worth what someone will buy.
Are you willing to list it for $1,500 right now?
Listen, we'll set a record if he does that. I guarantee you. I'm telling you.
All right.
All the buyers.
So we're talking, about like how assessed values and everything works, right? So this is a sample of a Lake County or St. John tax bill. We're talking about where does this upward adjustment go, and where do we get to effective tax rates and all of this stuff, right? So this is an $807,000 gross assessed value, so your cash value of your house, right?
Okay.
You can see in here, right? We see the property tax cap 1%. They shouldn't be over $8,070. Well, we have this upward adjustment right now is $1,600 and change. That's the current referendum for the schools, and there's like 2 or 3
this
other.
Is what I was talking.
Exactly, and then there's a couple other. I think there's a park and some other stuff that I couldn't really find about St. John in there. But that number is like obviously going to move up, right? We also, Indiana. This is another thing that people moving here from Illinois need to be aware of. There's county income tax, and so what we call it, the get lit tax, right, Tony?
Nah.
But that you do get a little bit of an offset on that. That's where this local property tax credit number comes in from. But this is, like I said, you don't, again, $807,000 gross valued house. The maximum tax that could be applied on this is $9,700 because these referendums don't apply to the cap. Then we'll talk about, Adam, you're talking about like how do we get to assessed values and all this stuff. And this is a big change that's coming through in Indiana with Senate Bill 1. So historically, you've basically taken a flat number out of your gross assessed value, right? And you just subtract out 48,000 or 45 or 48,000, whatever it was. And then you take the remainder of that number.
So that was a deduction that they gave you, right? So they said, here's this deduction, and this one is a flat $48,000. It doesn't matter
Every
what
house.
your property is worth.
There
Right.
was one cap in there that it can't be more than 50% of the value of your house. So
Right, okay.
basically,
So for most people, it's
if it's 100,000,
$48,000.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyone over
So-
$100,000 house.
So we're applying $48,000, and then there was another one.
Yeah, so you have the supplemental deduction, which is you take your gross value minus that flat adjustment or that deduction, right?
Mhm.
And you multiply that by a percentage, and that gives you the additional or the supplemental standard deduction. It's a moving scale, but what happens is there was a threshold of $600,000 there, and once you went over 600, you paid. There was another multiplier on there, so a more expensive home would pay higher tax percentage, if you will. What's going to happen here, right, is we're phasing out under Senate Bill 1 from now till 2030 that flat homestead amount.
It's going to a percentage.
It's only going to go to a percentage.
Okay. Sounds positive.
Well, so what it'll do is it'll bring higher value homes. It will make their actual assessed value to gross assessed value equal to lower value homes. So now everyone's paying their fair share. That also then starves, school districts and other things of some revenue, but they got to figure that part out too. That's a big thing that's going to be changing. And that's kind of how it works on the supplemental deductions. We did a little some math on this in my chicken scratch stuff here. In theory, right? This
I read
change,
this.
yes. So in change here,
Makes sense.
right? If you take a $700,000 house that it appreciates at 3 or 4% year over year during this process, the old way of the exemptions, that house would have a taxable value of $476,396 in 2030.
Mhm.
All right. In the new way, that house in 2030 has a $299,386. Yep.
Assessed value.
Assessed value. Yep. So you do have to a $400,000 house that we say appreciates to 450 by 2030. The old way, taxable value or assessed, net assessed value 251. New way 171,077.
So are these referendums they're passing are in response to because this is going to drive revenue down for them.
Yes.
They're not in response. They're up
They're
ahead
getting
of it,
ahead of
right?
it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. The last part, and we'll go through some calculators here too. The last part about the referendum stuff and what else is going on is in Senate Bill 1 also. If your school district has more than 100 students or 2% of the student population enrolled in a brick and mortar charter school, you now have to share all of your levy revenue with the charter school. That's that part. That's very Illinois-like. A little nerve-wracking,
Are
but
there charter schools out here?
not yet.
That's what I said.
We have 8 years to find out. But as soon as
Open.
I've
they're-
heard of one, but
well,
let's
I mean,
do it.
they're
There's one
waiting-
right here.
they're waiting for
Yes,
The Rusty Butter Charter School.
here you go. You learn how to drink some beers, drink some whiskey, drink some
We can
vodka,
make whiskey.
and do some math.
Yeah.
So in Senate Bill 1, right, one of this whole taxation impact thing, right, and we can share this link. There is a calculator that you can go to in the Indiana Department of Local Government Finance, plug all your information in. So we got a $400,000 assessed value here on this one. And this is Lake Central School Corp. So estimated maximum increase annually on taxes, $552. Over the course of the 8 years, it's a 4,146, or was it 4,441?
4,460.
Yeah. But that also doesn't take into account any increases in assessed value during that time. We'd fast forward to a $700,000 house because there's some areas around here where 700 is kind of the entry point as well, right? Well, that's $1,000 a year in increased taxes.
Yeah, the use of they used when their public statement used a median value in Lake Central's tax district of $350,000. Now I looked into it because you wanted a statement on it. I don't know if you saw my response. That amount was certified as a median by the Lake County assessor, so I'm not going to argue that.
Good choice.
Yeah, at least in public. However, though, specifically like St. John, that is not the median. I mean, not even really for a nice townhome or a paired villa or something like that. So it makes sense to get wise about it. The tax calculator that this website, if you want to see how it's going to affect yours, it is super easy to do. And you can grab your assessed value really easy from the county website. Just go to the county treasurer's office and you'll be able to pull up your assessed value right away.
So in general, a $700,000 house is going to have $1,000 a year increase on their income taxes if this passes.
Not income taxes.
I'm sorry. Property taxes.
We'll likely be getting that as well. All right. So one of the things that the Senate bill does allow is it allows for municipalities to charge their own income tax. All right. And I know that most,
like the town of St. John's going to tax me.
Yes.
That happens in Ohio, like in Ohio and some other.
It's coming. I don't know of any town in Northwest Indiana that it's not eyeing it. I don't know any town in Lake County that isn't eyeing it, especially the more populous and affluent ones. All right. I know that St. John's considering it, whether it's right or it's wrong. The fact is there's somewhat of an income stream that they'll be losing. I don't think that it's much. My argument with this whole thing is that it's not transparent. Now they will say, so Veraco says that, and they had published that there was a hearing or the thing at the school where they were going to talk about this. I mean, I saw nothing of it. I'm sure you guys didn't either. I'm not going to put you on the spot to answer.
I did not even turn in.
And the one thing that I don't like about this is, as we saw in 2018 and as we're seeing again, we're not seeing any areas where they're tightening up the ship at all. I mean, so in any of our businesses, if you know that you're being faced with either a loss of revenue or a growth of expenditures, or both at the same time, you have to look at where you have some slop in your business. You know, if you had shareholders that you report to, you would have to report to the shareholders where you're trying to tighten things up. And we certainly just
you can't just tax the shareholders.
I mean, from my opinion, all I see is things getting better, fancier, nicer, people being paid more. I really didn't like how they overstepped their bounds in terms of health and safety during COVID. I think that they were, from my opinion, from what I saw, I thought that they act contrary to the public's opinion and demands. And I think these things only empower them to do more of that.
I think we see that in a lot of other school districts in the other side of the state line there. We'll run through a couple more numbers, then we'll dive real deep into that and unpack some more there. So now we talk about non-homestead property. So your rental properties or the house that you bought for grandma and grandpa to live in, right?
This one's awesome.
$400,000, right? Your impact there is going to be $1,000 a month. Or $1,000 a year. I can't even, I got to pretend like I need some more coffee. $1,000 a year increase on your real estate taxes there. Moving over to Hanover, $400,000 house. Here, like their request isn't as much. Ends up with a $600 a year increase. And then $700,000 house ends up with a $1,134 increase. Let's talk about, there's a lot of things that kind of go on with tax increases beyond just, what is it going to do to my, to the school district and all that. When this stuff happens, we've already dealt with insurance premium increases and right sizing there. This runs you into a situation on the mortgage side of the world where you get escrow shortage, which is a bad place to be. So if you see that this ballot referendum is going to pass on Tuesday and you live in these school corporations, start socking some money away to the side, because you're going to get that letter that says, hey, your taxes went up, your escrows are short. We need one to increase your payment because your taxes actually went up.
You have like a one shot to do this. And if
you
don't, you're going to be in that new payment for a year.
Yep. And that payment's not going to be friendly.
It's amazing to me how many people don't understand how an escrow account works and how they won't know it until whenever your loan rebalances, which might be like 15 months after the increase. So now you got to pay back all the way back and pay forward. You're like getting smoked.
My interest, people, it's amazing. People, my interest rate increased. Like, no,
you know what they tell them when they call in? Oh, your home insurance might have went up. I'm like, your home insurance went down.
Bro, I tell them that all the time.
And they get so mad and then they shop. I'm like, look at your bill. It's your taxes. You live in Illinois, but now it's happening here.
Yeah.
It's good. Like, that's obviously, it's a super confusing thing, but like if we take it from the mortgage side, we take 1/12 of your taxes, we take 1/12 of your homeowner's insurance. If it moves up, it moves up. What hasn't moved up in today's environment, right?
Oh, I can't think of.
You can't buy. You got to buy. Like if you want a Honda Civic with leather now, it's $60,000.
Has anything depreciated? I don't think so.
One thing
Only stuff that I own.
Yeah. Only crypto.
Come over sometime. I'll show you a bunch of stuff.
I'll show you the
It's
boneyard
appreciated.
depreciation.
Shit in my garage.
But we thought, this whole idea here of like schools increasing revenue. I'll don myself uniquely qualified to speak about this. My wife taught in Illinois public schools for quite a while. Left one school district to go to left a school district that ran into this whole charter school revenue sharing problem. Went to another school district on the guise of the recruit and retain, and I'm going to pay you a bunch of more money. And she'll let me say this for her, but like that school district ruined her will to teach.
Oh man.
That recruit and retain stuff, like, again, I don't mean to be super critical of school districts, but that usually means that you have a bad administration, right? Like
People don't work for money. That's a whole nother episode we could do. People don't work for money. They work for other stuff, but they don't work for money. They think that they do. So this is why you say like administration, if you're in a really great environment, you feel like you're accomplishing something, you'd be surprised what you can get by with in pay.
Yeah.
Well, and like, if you look at it, right? So like the Hanover one just said teacher retention. Lake Central says teacher and staff retention and recruiting. Like, where's the money going to go to? I've watched this play out in 2 separate school districts in Illinois. I watched the charter school thing go on. Now, a very positive thing to consider if you're either tax the hell out of Illinois or you're wondering how else you can navigate this stuff. Indiana does have the Indiana School Choice Scholarship. So if you are wanting to send your kids to private school here and your income is the ratio is under 400% of the free lunch program, St. John, if your income, just the gross income, family of 4 is under $260,000 or $270,000, you can actually get a $6,000 a year scholarship to send your kid to private school. Yeah. It has to be in an Indiana private school, but all Andreans in it, Ileana's in it, Crown Point Christian's in it. Like the schools around here are all part of that program. Now you can't get that and then send your kid to Marion, but like my subdivision, I look around, I mean, most of the kids go to Andrean, or they go to Ileana over there for the high school.
Well, you know what? I know what we're getting in the background because I'm hearing the voices of social media that I see on this in any major groups or whatever. In the background, there's this whole other side of this that argues that the teachers and administration need to be paid more. We need better teachers because the school is what makes your town. And that's going to help all of your values if you have a better school. Now, I can say this, they in my business and in business, they say you should really caution against ever claiming to be an expert in this. I'm going to go out on a limb and claim that I am an expert in evaluation. I've been hired by various municipalities, the largest banking institutions in the United States of America, and the largest asset owners in the United States of America to understand what values are and what's happening in communities. And now I have not worked in the North Shore or northwestern suburbs of Illinois, but I have worked on most of Chicagoland. I have not seen one instance in which the investment in paying teachers more has and an improvement of the school has had any positive direct correlation to the impact and values on that community. All right. And I've actually seen the reverse in numerous cases in the direct immediate southern suburbs. I can name South Holland. I can name Dalton. I can name Harvey. I can name Homewood, where they've continued to spend more and more, in which teachers are receiving more money than they would receive in different western suburbs or northern suburbs. And it has certainly not improved the values of the house or had any correlation to it, or have those communities viewed as improving or even better than what they were. There is not one instance that they can point out that this has happened. All right. So I just want to say that to quell anybody who's watching this who wants to talk about how paying these teachers more and improving this stuff is going to have some impact on real estate value. That's bullshit. 100% done. Carry on.
Heard it here first. But I think, you couldn't pay me to work in a bad environment. Like there's a dollar amount that it's not worth it to work in a bad environment. So I don't think that always fixes things. I know we just went through a bunch of fun tax stuff there. If you guys have questions, we'll put links out. We'll help you figure this stuff out and make your own choice. On that's the best part about Northwest Indiana and the United States of America. You make your own choice, and the majority wins. And if the majority wins, whatever it is, we deal with it. But we just want you to be educated through it.
Well,
Adam,
when can they vote?
Yeah, I think you can vote. There was some early voting. While you're looking that up, Adam, do we have any updates on the thing that was going, the asteroid?
Today is when it's supposed to be able to be seen again from the other side of the sun. So I think we find out at some point today if aliens are in
the green thing.
Yeah, the green thing.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering. I was like, why do you have the Hubble telescope out in the back over here? But hey, no. What a day we got!
Haven't heard
green,
anything yet.
We got green things. Anything else we got? We got World Series going on. We got some
World
great
Series,
games there.
Shohei. I mean, the Dodgers are winning right now.
Shohei Ohtani, man, what a
G.
Babe Ruth.
Yeah,
Japanese version.
I got though.
Yeah.
That's all we got. What'd you
Lake
find?
County Board of Elections registration office. You can early vote Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the registration office. Well, here's St. John Township Assessor's office. That's right by
the
the
subway?
subway.
Yep.
Right by the
Clubhouse.
subway on
Grab
41.
yourself a beer on the way out.
You
a
can go
cigarette.
there. It looks like they're pretty much 9 to 3. Thursday is 9 to 7. That'd be tomorrow. 2 Saturdays prior to election day. So that's out. Monday before election day, 9 a.m. to noon. So 9 a.m. to noon on Monday. If not, get to the assessor's office between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m.
All right. Only other big news today, Federal Reserve announcement is Jerome Powell going to wear a purple tie, yes or no? That usually means whatever he's going to talk about in the press conference is going to impact rates. As the young kids, and now my 5-year-old says, hey, what are rates at? 6.7. 6.7.
Oh,
we're all over there. I don't know what else to say about it. We'll see. There was 100% chance that they're going to cut the Fed funds rate by a quarter. We already know that. It's already baked into the market. What we're looking for is a change in verbiage to say that quantitative tightening is going to end. We see that likely means that positive news for interest rates moving forward through the next 12 months. If we don't see it, who knows how the market reacts. Everything's on a hair trigger. But, like I sent Tony a picture the other day of a license plate. Next year is it's your year. Just keep waiting.
Keep waiting. See you later.
Out. Oh boy.
Dude, consumer sentiment came out low, though.
I'm done. Cut the show.